my thoughts. If you haven't heard, if you haven't seen, if you haven't looked at other keto YouTubers who have been talking about this as well, there was a video this week from Jillian Michaels on this YouTube channel called Big Think. And it's, from what I can tell, an opinion piece. And she's given her opinion on keto. If you don't know who Jillian Michaels is, she is a celebrity fitness person. I believe she was pretty big already, but you will probably most likely know her from The Biggest Loser. Is it okay?
You just turned it on the.
Yeah.
You turned the YouTube on?
Yeah. Got my YouTube. I'm right there.
Yeah, well, you turned it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you might have seen her on The Biggest Loser, you know, that show was very popular. I believe it ran for about 6 years. Jillian has about over 20 years of fitness behind her, and of course, not disputing that. But she pretty much tried to rip a new one to the keto way of eating, or the keto diet, and it's caused a bit of a stir. It's caused a bit of a stir. And I think the main feeling from people like me is, huh? And that's all that's my main thing. And you'll see, because I've got notes. So yeah, let's get into it. Well, all right. So the main thing is, and again, I'm not disputing her experience or anything. I think for me, the main point of this is to address the fact that I don't understand who she's speaking to when she's speaking about keto, because it doesn't seem to be, what she's saying doesn't seem to apply to keto pretty much at all. If it does, it is probably because of some people who are too gung-ho and overdoing it. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not going after her. You know, she has a lot of experience. She has a lot of fitness behind her. I do not compete on that. Hey, Leon. I don't compete with that. I am a fitness instructor for exercise to music, and I've done that for about 5 years. So that is nowhere near her 20. And on top of the fitness instructor, I am a Zumba instructor and a Sharky belly dance instructor. I do have some training, a little bit basic, a little bit higher than basic training. So I can understand some of the things that she's saying, but yeah, I still don't understand who she's talking to. So I want to go into that. Again, it's a video on Big Think. I am not going to link to it. You want to find it, search for something about "Don't Believe the Keto Hype" on Big Think, or just Jillian Michaels Keto, and you'll see it. So let me get started. The first thing that she talks about is that people will try to sell you a false bill of goods by giving you a small piece of the info. So basically what she's saying is that when it comes to keto, the inference is that keto is telling you, is taking, cherry picking some results and then blowing it up so that it only focuses on just this little amount of information, when actually there's so much more. Okay, exactly. That's fine. Of course, I would say that about any stance or any position based on research. So yeah, okay, you got it. But then she doesn't say anything about any research to begin with. So I'm a bit confused as to why she's going there to start off with. But then she starts talking about, but keto, you're reducing the carbs, and she starts saying something about because you want to keep down anything that elevates, and then she cuts herself off. To which I say, please finish the sentence, because you were about to say anything that elevates insulin. I'm assuming that she realized that is not a good thing to say, to agree with the fact that carbs elevate insulin, and then started taking a different sentence. So she kind of cut herself off there. But what she says is, the next thing she says is that being on keto or going into ketosis is throwing your body into a state of emergency. This is the first time that I'm just like, I'm no. Ketosis isn't a state of emergency. Ketosis is using a different fuel source. It's like a car shifting from using petrol to using electricity. It's like a hybrid, which the body can do quite normally. So I'm not sure where the state of emergency is when you put yourself into a state of nutritional ketosis. A state of emergency, in my eyes, would be cortisol. Cortisol is, your adrenaline. It's your fight or flight mode. That is a state of emergency, because you, at that point, if your cortisol shoots up, you're going to do one of two things: fight or run. That's a state of emergency. I'm not sure why ketosis is a state of emergency, and if you've got some good information on that, please let me know below. The other thing that is, I think, a state of emergency based on the body would be a state of starvation. When you put yourself into a state of starvation, your body shuts metabolism down. It shuts your metabolism down so that you are not burning through your stores, whether glucose or fat, too quickly, and you don't die. That is a state of emergency for your body, which I would argue calorie counting is one thing that would put you in a state of starvation. If you are going on an extreme diet where it's an extreme calorie reduction, and you're counting your calories and reducing calories, and you're thinking less food is more, that will put your body into a state of starvation, and your metabolism will shut down and it will slow. And your basal metabolic rate is basically the calories or the energy that you go through just for existing in a day, just going through your normal day-to-day things. And what will happen is the body will shut that down and lower it, so you are expending less energy. That, to me, state of emergency. Ketosis, not a state of emergency. My husband says, what about ketoacidosis? Ketoacidosis is an extreme state, and few people, number one, type 1 diabetics, and this is why keto is not recommended for type 1 diabetics, because type 1 diabetics, that is something that they can get into just for existing, and that is when it's the body has become too acidic, too extreme. You cannot really get to ketoacidosis through nutritional ketosis. It would be extremely difficult. However, again, if you're type 1 diabetic or you have certain diseases that might put you into ketoacidosis. Again, this is why we say go to your GP and work with your GP, your doctor, or your nutritionist, when you want to start any new diet, not just keto. So make sure that you're working with them, because if you do have something that's either genetic or some other disease, then you can find it, you can find out, and you can understand that you should not be on keto. Oh, just got a comment. Happy Sunday to you. Love that you're explaining, but she's a celeb trainer I rarely listen to in first place. And I totally understand that. I completely understand that. But a lot of people listen to her. A lot of people will listen to the celebrity trainers because they're on TV and they are successful and build a lot of and make a lot of money training a lot of people. And she's trained a lot of people and she has helped a lot of people. But again, it's this complete against keto, and the way she says it. It's not even what she's saying, it's the way she's saying it that kind of puts me off. But again, my main thing with this is what she's saying, because it's inherently wrong, in my opinion. So again, ketosis, not a state of emergency. Starvation is a state of emergency. Cortisol, state of emergency. Ketosis, not a state of emergency. It's just shifting from one fuel source to the next. And then she says, well, because, you know, keto, sure, you're making ketones and your carbs are really low, so you're going to switch to burning fat quickly. And yeah, that's right. And you'd think that would be a good thing. That is a good thing, Jillian. That is a good thing, because I am thinking that is what you tried to do for your clients. Whether they're on keto or not, you working with your clients are trying to burn fat and burn fat quickly. So I'm not sure exactly what the point of that one is. And then she says, well, and many people who are on keto will say, well, I reversed my type 2 diabetes. And, you know, and she says, well, yeah, of course, sure, you can reverse your type 2 diabetes with keto. You know, your blood sugar is dropped down through the floor and your pancreas isn't creating insulin. And she's saying it like it's a bad thing. Yes, if your pancreas isn't making insulin because you don't need it, that's just fine. That's what the body normally does. If you don't need it, your pancreas doesn't create it. And again, if you're looking at keto and researching keto, then you come to understand that the reason why that became a process is because the pancreas is overworking constantly. So that's the whole point, to giving the pancreas a rest and the ability to reboot and become, once again, sensitized to insulin. And then she says, and sure, yeah, sure, people say, yeah, it reversed my type 2 diabetes and it got rid of my PCOS and I was able to increase my fertility. I was able to have kids, you know, and she's like, fair, yeah, let's give it that. No. Please do not dismiss that. That, plus other things, are what's giving keto its status, that people are sustainably reversing their type 2 diabetes. And again, when we say reversing, you can't really get rid of it. It is something that's with you. So if you're not careful, it will come back, but you can definitely manage it. Yes, it can get rid of your PCOS systems and alleviate, and it can therefore make you more fertile so you can have kids. Those three things are big. So I'm not sure why you're saying that in a dismissive way. If it's working, then why are you looking to dismiss it? Not sure. I'm not sure what the point of that is. And then she starts talking about keto in earnest, and then she says, because there's zero calorie restriction on a ketogenic diet. At that point, I was like, hold on, who are you talking about? What diet are you talking about? Because you are obviously not talking about the keto diet. What do you mean there's zero calorie restriction on a ketogenic diet? The ketogenic diet reduces your carbs to under 20 grams per day. And if you're following the strict keto protocol, then moderate protein and a high amount of dietary fat. That naturally restricts your caloric intake if you're applying the keto rules about percentages. So if 20 grams, which is 80 calories, of the total calories that you eat in a day come from carbs, and that should be 5 to 10%. Carbs should be 5 to 10% of what you eat in a day, the total calories. Then the fact that you're starting off with only 80 calories worth of carbs, and that's 5 to 10% of your total calories. I mean, do the maths. You know, it means you'll end up somewhere around 1,500 calories. The point to keto is that you're not needing to count calories because you are using your macros and you're reducing the thousands upon thousands of calories that you can get from eating too much carbs. So I'm not sure where she's saying that there's 0 calorie restriction. And then she says that there's no consideration with timing when it comes to food. Again, who is she speaking to? Who is she speaking to regarding to keto not considering the timing when it comes to food? Before I started keto, and this is anecdotal, but this is what I'm going through. Before I started keto, I grazed constantly throughout the day, all day, because if I didn't, I would physically feel ill, no matter what diet I was on. And I'm pretty much always dieting. So I was on another diet program and I was still eating constantly throughout the day. And I was still not feeling well if I didn't eat for more than 3 hours. On keto, not only does eating a higher amount of dietary fat keep me satisfied, so when I eat the meal, I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'm all right. And then hours later, more than 3 hours later, I'm like, yeah, I'm still good. Don't need a snack. Don't need another meal. Yeah, I'm still good. And I found that. And there's no way for me to turn around and lie about it because I couldn't. Because before, when I was on carbs, on a high, the standard diet, I couldn't go beyond that because I would physically be ill. Here, not only am I going further and being more satisfied when I eat, I am able to do what's called intermittent fasting, where I am not eating a meal for about 16 hours. That includes sleep, by the way. That includes sleep. But I could not eat a meal for 16 hours and still be okay. Just yesterday, my intermittent fasting went 22 hours. So I'm not sure where this no consideration with timing when it comes to food is related to keto at all. I'm very confused about that. Then she says, and your autophagy process is completely out of whack. I had to laugh at this one because it seems to me, and again, this whole video is my opinion. It seems to me she's just throwing in keto buzzwords. These are words that if you're on keto, you know about. If you're not on keto, you don't really know what autophagy is. And autophagy is your own cells regenerating. So you'll have some cells that die, and then it's a process of your other cells taking the leftovers and then regenerating it into new cells and things. And this kicks off through the fasting process. So the longer you go without eating, the more the autophagy comes up and ramps up in your body. So I'm not sure how the autophagy process is out of whack when, in order to have autophagy, you need to not be eating for a prolonged period of time. Because if I'm intermittent fasting for a prolonged period of time, the autophagy would be up. When I was back on my regular diet, I was eating all the time. So how could my autophagy, the autophagy system within me increase? It didn't have a chance. So again, I'm not sure why you're saying this. The next thing she says is that with keto, it's very high in animal fat and very high in animal protein. It is high in animal fat because it is low in carbs, because fat is a low and slow burner, whereas carbs, for your energy, shoots up really high and then drops very quickly, because that's what the fuel is. Very high on animal protein. Again, I'm not sure who you're speaking to, because a person on regular strict keto is only eating moderate amounts of protein. From my recollection, Atkins was the high protein, low carb, high protein. We don't do high protein in keto. Some people may say, yes, I'm eating a lot more protein than anything. Those are probably the people without metabolic issues. But they're not, but that's not, they're following something else. They might want to call it keto, but they're really following something else, because keto, in its basic protocol, is low carb, moderate protein, high amount of dietary fat. So again, I'm not sure who she's speaking to when she's saying that these people are the ones eating high amounts of animal protein. And then she says, the fact that you're eating high animal fat, it's high in saturated fat, which are poor for your telomeres. It's another buzzword, but I didn't even know about telomeres. I had to go look it up. But basically, telomeres are the ends of your DNA. So you've got your DNA strand, and the telomeres are the end. And as you get older, they kind of shrink and break. Think of like shoelaces. When you've got the shoelaces that have the plastic wrapping at the end, and then eventually the plastic breaks off and it gets frayed, and it doesn't work so well and doesn't look so good. Same sort of thing happens during the aging process as you age, but other things can speed it up. So when you're talking about telomeres, you could say somebody is 40 years old, but their telomeres is like for someone who is 30, which means they're prolonging their life. Or you have a person who's 40, but they're constantly, they're smoking a lot. They're doing things that contribute to their telomeres shortening. So they might be 40, but their telomeres is of a 60-year-old. If you understand what I'm saying. So she's saying saturated fats are poor for telomeres. Okay. I started looking around for medical research regarding telomeres and what you should do to prolong your life and keep your telomeres from shortening. Basically, it was meditate, don't be stressed. Exercise, yes, not going to dispute that at all. You should move. And intermittent fasting, which we do in keto. Intermittent fasting to kick in your autophagy, which we do in keto. So again, not sure why you're bringing this up. But then she says, this, saturated fats are poor for telomeres. They increase your inflammation. Your nutrient sensing pathways related to your metabolism are overrun with constant food. who are you speaking to? Because you're not speaking to the people who are following the basic keto protocol. We follow keto to decrease inflammation. I can tell you, for me personally, it has decreased inflammation and bloating within my body and nutrient sensing pathways related to your metabolism. I'm not starving myself, so my metabolism is not shutting down. I'm eating enough food for my metabolism to continue to tick along. I test my blood sugars every day, and they're fine, which means I've got my system being so sensitive enough to insulin. And I'm not constantly eating food. So my metabolism isn't constantly overrun with food. So again, I'm not sure who you're speaking to, but you're not speaking to me. The next thing she says is that the number one way to sensitize the body to insulin is exercise. That is incorrect. And I had to pull out I had to pull out my binder with my coursework when I did my exercise to when I did my fitness instructor course, which spoke about this. No, diet is the best way to resensitize the body to insulin. Exercise can help, but exercise is not the only way. You can be skinny and you can work out and you can still be diabetic. Your diet is the main thing to help you get your body back into sensitizing insulin. Then she goes back. Remember when she says, "Oh, people on keto will say, oh, I reversed type 2 diabetes and PCOS and fertility." She says, well, I've done that. I've worked with clients and reversed their type 2 diabetes and got them off of medication. I've worked with clients and have reduced their PCOS and they got pregnant. I've worked with these clients. So, I've done it through my programs. So it's almost like she's saying, well, keto's claim to doing all of that and the anecdotes, because at this point she's working off of anecdotal information. She's basically saying, well, keto's claim, yeah, I've done it through mine, so therefore mine must be the one to work because there's so many bad side effects to keto. Well, no, you can't dismiss the benefits of one and say your program has the same exact benefits. And then suddenly that becomes important. Well, I do it using my protocol. So now all of a sudden it's important. Keto does it, but it's not important because it's different to my protocol. No, it's still important. Keto, and I always say this, keto is not for everyone. Not everyone should do it. Not everyone needs to do it. And I will be the first one to say that because not everyone has the metabolic issues. But I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll look for it and I'll link it in the description. But there was an article saying that over 80% of the people in the United States are metabolically unhealthy. And keto seems to be helping people who have unhealthy metabolic systems. So this whole thing about exercise and eat well, sure, it works. It works for people with regular metabolic systems. For people who don't have a healthy metabolic system, something else needs to go in there and change. So why are you focusing on the keto diet? Where is your focus regarding all of the other diets and how they work? So again, not sure why you're focusing on keto. And again, continuing to say stuff that is inherently incorrect about keto. Then she says, so really what you should be doing to remain healthy is to have common sense diet where you don't eat too much, eat real food, and have balanced macros. Common sense diet. I'll be honest, starving myself makes no sense. And that's what calorie restricted diets do. So low that you are this close, if not fully, into starvation mode. Partnered with a lot of exercise. This is what The Biggest Loser pushed. The show that she was on for 6 years. Very low diet, very low caloric diet, calorie controlled, with lots and lots of exercise. So much exercise that people frequently would go in the corner and throw up. And I stopped watching Biggest Loser very early on because that whole concept upset me. And on top of that, I said, these people are going to finish and they're going to gain their weight right back because the psychological side of overeating is not being addressed, at least not on camera. I don't know if that's behind the camera thing, but on camera, the whole reason why they were overeating to begin with was never tackled. So that calorie controlled with endless high intensity exercise until you're throwing up in the corner is not common sense to me. And then she goes on to say, so you need a common sense diet where you don't eat too much. Yes, we don't eat too much on keto. Hi, Dennis. We don't eat too much on keto because, again, I just told you, standard American diet, I ate all day. Even while I was on a diet. Keto way of eating, I've gone from 3 meals and several snacks a day to 2 meals and 1 snack a day. Safe to say, I'm not eating too much. Okay. We eat real food. So you're saying people on keto don't eat real food. Look, I'm not a fan of a whole bunch of keto bars and keto shakes that suddenly other people are pushing. But keto, Jillian, I invite you to come and look at my recipe videos. I invite you to let your fingers do the tapping on YouTube and look at other people's keto videos and tell me that the ingredients that are placed on that screen are not real food. So again, I'm not sure who you're speaking to, but you're not speaking to people following a normal keto protocol. And have balanced macros. I have balanced macros according to my keto protocol. Do you mean equal macros? 30-30-30 or 30-30-40? I'm not sure that's common sense. Again, that's what keto is challenging. Years and decades of eat a lot of carbs and people getting obese and having so many other health issues, and then something comes and changes that and says, we might just have been wrong with this, and then suddenly doing something different than the standard diet seems to be crazy and not balanced. So she's saying if you have a common sense diet where you don't eat too much, you eat real food, and you have balanced macros, then you can have all of the benefits that keto gives without the negative side effects. She doesn't go on to say what the negative side effects are. Are you referring to keto flu? Because keto flu is easily handled or prevented by simply keeping up your electrolytes. What are you talking about are the negative sides of keto? I'm not sure. Okay. And then the last thing she says is, the last point is, we're stripping our bodies of fruits, which have a ton of antioxidants and polyphenols. How can we strip ourselves and stop eating fruit? We can eat fruit on keto, Jillian. So I'm not sure who you're talking to. Now, we don't eat all of the fruit. Berries are allowed on keto, and again, in measured amounts. The reasoning behind that is that berries are the lowest, have the lowest glycemic index. They have the lowest amount of sugar per serving of all the fruits. This is not radical thinking, and this is not radical behavior. Because as a type 2 diabetic myself, doctors prescribed to me a low glycemic diet. So I, as a type 2 diabetic, would have already been staying away from most fruits and not eating them because they blew up my sugar. So I don't understand what the sensationalism is around this. You can't eat fruit. They're high in antioxidants. You know what? Let me flip the page over, shall we? Because I did a bit of research. I let my fingers do the tapping, looked at some things, looked at the USDA recommended foods that are high in antioxidants. Can I share this with you? Okay. Food high in antioxidants: cranberries, blueberries, blackberries. We can have on keto, we can have on keto, we can have on keto. Pecans, walnuts, hazelnuts. We can have on keto, we can have on keto, we can have on keto. Ground cloves, ground cinnamon, turmeric. Look, if you make my Indian butter chicken, you've got all three. Because I use them all. Oregano, kale, we can have on keto. Red cabbage, we can have on keto. In minimal amounts, because red cabbage has a higher sugar content. Spinach, black and green tea, all of which we can have on keto. And the last one, because I saved the best for last, peeps, dark chocolate. Dark chocolate has high antioxidants. And guess what we can have on keto, kids? Dark chocolate. And she talks about polyphenols. Because, right, antioxidants, they fight these free radicals that are, that will hurt our cells and our DNA. And she says we need stuff high in polyphenols, because polyphenols can improve your digestive health, your weight management. So you want foods high in polyphenols to help if you've got issues with managing your weight. They help with type 2 diabetes and more. Guess which foods are high in polyphenols? Berries, which we can eat on keto. Spinach and leafy greens, which we eat on keto. Basically, the same things that are high in antioxidants are also high in polyphenols. So I don't know about you, but if you've been to my house and you see how much spinach we consume on a regular basis, and kale, and all of that, you wouldn't be worried about me. Sorry, Jillian. Okay. I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end that there. The only thing that I'm gonna say is, this seems, and again, this is my opinion on her opinion. It seems that this was full of inaccurate information. I'm not sure who you were speaking to. I'm not sure who was the keto representatives for this opinion piece, because they weren't keto. Or, as she stated at the beginning of the piece, or is she cherry picking the people who are using keto as an excuse to overeat thousands and thousands of unlimited calories, claiming high protein, high fat will work for me? And look, when you first start keto, sure, high protein or lowering your carbohydrates will be enough for a while. But eventually, yes, calories do matter. The thing here is, we don't need to track calories. We track differently. We keep an eye on things differently. Ah, thanks, Dennis. Happy New Year to you too. Hey. So, this is, to me, sensationalism. She's gone on and said all of the buzzwords in a very condescending and, oh, well, if you want to say that it helps you, sure, I'll give it that. Well, because she can't say no. But it just seems a lot of sensationalism surrounding this opinion piece. And again, I just went through everything she said, and her things and everything she said was incorrect or cherry picked. Remember how she said at the beginning that a lot of, when it comes to keto, they'll take a little bit of information and cherry pick it, and they'll focus in on that, but you don't get the whole picture. I feel like she's just done that through this whole opinion piece, because no calorie control, eating all day, no restriction, timing restriction to food. Who are you speaking to? You're not speaking to people on keto. You're not. So I'm not sure. Saying that we're missing out on foods high in antioxidants, we're not. Saying that we need to eat real food, we are. Saying that we're staying away from fruit and, oh my God, that's going to kill us, well, we can have berries. Again, low glycemic index. So again, where is the issue? Anecdotally, again, I didn't start, well, no, I'll say this. My husband did not start keto touting its medical benefits. He wasn't looking for medical benefits at all. He started keto because I started keto and he wanted to eat. Because if I wasn't cooking for the both of us, it meant he needed to eat and fix his own food. So he started keto that way. It was a surprise to him because he wasn't looking for it. There's no placebo effect here. It was a surprise to him when he realized, oh, certain pains are almost gone. Achilles heel issues that he had are gone unless he does a lot of walking. And he was really surprised with that. Completely gone. Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
His acid reflux, again, 18 years of acid reflux. And if you've seen my husband, he's not obese, like troll. I had a troll. That's another story. But my husband's not obese. He's not, hooked up to some carb and high fat IV. He's not smoking 50 million packs a day. You know what I mean? He's not drinking 50 million gallons of alcohol a day. He is a regular guy, who always had, and so does John, right? Right? It's a family thing. It's a family thing. This acid reflux. So he was extremely surprised when he realized, hold up, when was the last time I needed medication and felt acid reflux? So yeah, so it, and the one time, or the couple of times, because he had certain cheat days, a couple of times where he had a high amount of carbs. I mean, let me put it this way. He still was able to drink, and that, even drinking, did not bring back the acid reflux. What has brought back the acid reflux is the times where he went and had a high amount of carbs, whether it was mashed potatoes, roasted potatoes, or, you know, bread and stuffing. That's when he came back home and went, oh, I need a Rennie tablet. So he wasn't looking for the health sides of it, yet he was extremely surprised to find the health sides of it. So again, if we're eating better and if we're eating real food and it's making a difference, not just to our weight, but to our overall feeling of health, because health and fitness, sorry, two different things. They each inform the other, but they are still two separate things. So where is the issue with keto? Because I'll tell you, I haven't seen a keto side effect yet. I haven't had keto flu. And that's because I knew what to do. And I keep up my electrolytes. I keep up by I don't supplement electrolytes. I increased my salt intake naturally by adding more salt to my food, and I increased my potassium and magnesium naturally by eating foods which are yummy and are naturally high in potassium and magnesium. So for me, I'm disappointed that she's done this, because the information that she's ticked off in this video is incorrect or blown out of proportion. The way she started off with at the beginning, she's done exactly that in this opinion piece. And I'll leave this by saying that the other thing that I don't think is common sense is, again, calorie restriction to the point where you're starving yourself, combined with heavy amounts of very intense exercise where you are throwing up in the corner and therefore making yourself more prone to injury, which are two things that, by watching The Biggest Loser, I can only infer and trying out her some of her videos, I can only infer this is how she works. But I don't think that's common sense. And what I don't also think is common sense is the fact that she sells fat burning pills, which are still available for sale. So I have to then question motive for this piece. I'm not even questioning whether or not she was paid for this piece. I'm questioning her motive for this piece. Is it because keto isn't celebrity? There is no celebrity keto people. Because keto is on a grassroots level. It's individual. It's word of mouth. It's people saying, "Look, my aunt did it, and she's feeling fantastic, and it's helped her with her acid reflux. This person did it, and it's helped them with their weight loss. This person did it, and their pain is, their chronic pain is gone. This person did it, and their migraines have greatly reduced." There is no celebrityness to keto. So if something that is non-celebrity based is causing people to burn fat, then perhaps it's taking out of certain pockets that are completely dependent on people needing to lose weight, needing to follow very drastically reduced calorie counting, and following a $15 a month website, and buying your fat burning pills. Not even going to get into the court, being sued 3 times over those pills. Because you know what? I haven't even looked at them. I haven't even looked at it. I don't even know what the results were. So I'm not even going to look at that. But the fact that you sell fat burning pills and then sit there and say, what you need to do is not keto, but a common sense approach by eating real food and working out, I think is a bit hypocritical. And again, makes me think you're sensationalizing this for your own benefit. So, yeah. Hi, Steve. Yeah, he's over there. He's pointing at New York, though. So, but yeah. So those are my opinions. Those are my opinions on her opinions. And again, I'm not going to link. You can do the search. I'm not going to link to that video. I think it's here's where my real personal commitment. I think it's ridiculous. Again, every point she made was incorrect, and I just explained it. And
It was not a big video.
And it was not a big video.
That was all the points. You said all the points.
Yeah, I said every single point. I mean, I literally pretty much wrote her entire point.
So?
But again, it just boggles the mind that she's saying this, and I'm like, who are you talking to? Because that's not keto. Keto doesn't do that. Keto does not do that. So, yeah. So go watch it. The other interesting thing is that it has so many more dislikes than it does like. And I think other people, I think people feel the same way I do. And again, people are in an uproar over this. I'm not so much, because you will either listen to her or not. My main point to this in this video and today is to go, hold up, what she's saying is incorrect. Let me give you the correct information. I'm all right if you're trying to debunk keto. I'm all right if you don't agree with it. I'm all right if you're pushing for other diets. But please do so with correct information. Please do so in a respectful manner that we can have discourse and have a debate where you are not coming in like my troll the other day, like a rabid dog, and had there was nothing in any of his posts to say, I'm going to listen to what you have to say. I just had to take what he was saying. I stopped typing, and he still had about another seven posts, and like, oh, I shut you down. And I'm like, dude, man, you're not helping yourself. And you're a personal trainer. If I were a client looking, I would not want to work with you. But anyway, that's another story. So again, those are my thoughts. And it's a really long video. I'm sorry. But those are my thoughts on her piece. Whew. So, all right. So Paul just says, no longer looking for food on a regular basis. The need to go to work with 4 or more sandwiches or carbs. And so he eats when he's hungry, 1 meal per day, and maybe a snack is enough. And it's true. He doesn't eat a lot at work at all. He takes a bag of...
I went from at least 4 meals or 4 snacks, meals.
Yeah, four snacks. Yeah.
2.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how little people start eating. And it's really, for me, a person who eats, I'm an emotional eater, I am an overeater, and I am a secret eater. Those are the 3, if you didn't know. And yeah, witness. Sorry, Red Dead Redemption. Angry Joe. We love him. So, witness. All right. But I'm a secret eater. I'm an emotional eater, and I am just a general overeater. For me, overeating, whether I'm happy or not, makes no difference. Overeating for me eating out all the time. One was for the fact that I grew up with not a lot of money, so to eat out was a sign of we were okay financially, and that just stuck. So between that and comfort eating when something goes wrong, those are things that diet can't help. Uh, Changing how the relationship you have with food can help, and which is why I am on a health coach course, because I think uh, we need a total um, holistic look at health food. And for me, keto is the first time where I'm not obsessing with food. I'm working with food and thinking about food just as much as the other times because I need to cook. I need to cook so much more than I did before. But this whole business with eating because I'm bored, eating because I'm nervous, eating because I'm happy, eating because I'm sad, and constantly feeling that I need food. Um, and I'm not saying it's gone. I'm saying it's way more under control than before, than ever before. Again, the fact that I can go, like I said yesterday, I did an intermittent fast, so I did not eat for 22 hours. It wasn't even on purpose. It wasn't even on purpose. I started eating at 7 o'clock the night before on Friday. I had food at 7. And then I came home and I didn't have anything else to eat, went to bed late, got up late, and wasn't hungry. So I said, you know what? Not hungry, not gonna eat. It wasn't until 5 o'clock that I said, right, I need food. And I started on a snack because my husband was going to make dinner. So my snack was at 5 p.m. and I ate again at 7. No, 7:30. 7:30? 8ish. Anyway, but 22 hours and I wasn't even trying, and I did not feel faint, and I did not feel nervous, and I did not feel hangry the way I normally do, or the way I normally did before I was on keto. And again, just a reminder, I was on diets. I was almost constantly on diets. So even with eating healthfully, I was constantly eating, and I was constantly feeling sick if I didn't eat because my blood sugar would drop. What's the difference here? And why the hell would I go back to a carb filled, and again, this is me. You don't have to feel this way. That's fine. This is me. Why would I want to go back to feeling faint and feeling horrible just for the fact that I can't, that I'm no longer going to eat a potato? Potatoes and bread and other carbs and starches, for me, are no longer worth the dip in my blood sugar, the increase in migraines, the hunger, the nausea. They're not worth it. And I'm eating real foods. I'm eating leafy greens, never thought possible. My day is full of spinach and asparagus and kale and cauliflower. I've got cauliflower coming out of my ears. And broccoli and avocado and nuts and cheeses and dairy. I'm off the milk. I don't recall the last time I had, oh wait, no, I had milk accidentally this week. They gave me milk accidentally in my coffee at work.
I had milk last week. Didn't taste good.
It didn't. It didn't. It tasted weird. Okay, so again, that's me and that's anecdotal, but again, please, when you see this and when you see her video, if you choose to look at Jillian's video, look, do your own research. Do your own research, make your own choice. I had to do a lot of research before I decided what I wanted to do. And again, a reminder, when you choose to do keto, Okay? No one is holding a gun to your head and making you, putting a loaf of bread in front of you and putting a gun to your head and going, you can't have that. By choosing keto, you are choosing, you are in control. You are choosing not to have a high amount of carbs. Remember, vegetables have carbs. Vegetables have carbs. Even spinach and cauliflower and broccoli has carbs, but they are lower in carbs. They are the healthier carbs that keep your body ticking. Because remember, keto is not no carbs. Keto is low carbs. So there are parts of your body that need that glucose. So again, we're not saying no carbs. We're saying the right carbs. So not the breads, not the high amounts of carbohydrate in beans and starchy veg and all of that, and the high sugar in fructose and in fruit with the fructose. Not saying that. But again, when you're choosing keto, you're choosing to refrain from the breads. Okay? So don't be crying you can't have bread. You're choosing it. You're choosing not to have the fruit for the health benefits of letting your liver take a break for as far as the fatty liver goes, because your liver is going to be working elsewhere. For having your pancreas take a break, for having your body take a break from chronic inflammation that works against you, because some inflammation in the body is good, but chronic inflammation is not. So, oh, I could keep going for hours, but I'm going to just end it there. Does anybody have any other questions? Not any other questions. I don't think I let you talk. So I'm just going to come here really quickly, and I'm just going to go back here. Electrolytes are in as much jeopardy, especially in extreme. Yes, this is true. Not all the way keto, working low carb until inflammation is better. Oh, okay. Oh, good. Yeah, and Jennifer said she's not even all the way into keto. She's just lowered her carbs, and she can tell the inflammation around her body is better. Things like bloating, things, just in general, just a general better feeling. So that's definitely fantastic. Good going, girl.
No carbs is good enough.
I was skeptical about addressing. Bless you. You were talking about me addressing this video?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my husband was.
I actually thought the video was actually pointless of addressing. The only reason I thought actually it might be worth addressing is because this is a big person.
Yeah.
I think that's why everyone's addressing it.
Yeah, everyone is addressing it because it is a big celebrity face
Otherwise,
against this.
Don't even bother.
Exactly. But and again, this is why I'm saying, because of her experience, because of her background, people will listen. And I think, again, it's not about, oh, she's against keto, so I'm going to be against her. That's not it. I'm specifically addressing the fact that the information that she's giving in this video is incorrect. It's not even keto. What she's talking about is not even your basic protocol for keto. So I'm not sure who she's talking about. So please don't believe the anti-keto hype she's just said, because everything in that video has been sensationalized, cherry-picked, and done that. Where the rest of the picture, just like she said at the beginning, is over here, and she's focused in on this. And this wasn't even correct. Her information wasn't even correct. So that is what would make me mad. The fact that she's providing incorrect information. Doesn't matter who she is. I don't care why she's doing it. The fact is she's provided incorrect information. So here I am going, no, that's incorrect. It's this. No, that's incorrect. It's this. And again, you don't have to believe me. I encourage you, go and let your fingers do the tapping. Go out and read some of these medical research publications and make your own informed choice. So my husband said he was skeptical about addressing this video, but Jillian is really a big deal with the fitness area. So it needs to be at least addressed, I think. And Jennifer replied, I agree. I've seen a few address it and done it as well as Anna's doing. Oh, thank you. I do hope that this was helpful. I'm just gonna scroll this back up here. I do hope that this was helpful in understanding what she said and what the truth of it is. So with that, I will close this because this is over an hour long. If you have any further questions, then please comment on this video, comment below. I will read it. I will tell you now. Again, I only addressed the things she has said in this video. Please understand now, I am not going to entertain anybody who is coming in to attack for the sake of attacking. So trolls, be gone. If you can have a respectful dialogue where you will take my information and think about it, just like I went to see this video because I wanted to see what she had to say and think about it and then provide my answers, then you're welcome. You're welcome to do it. Let's have that conversation. But if all you're doing is going to come in bah, 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 and you have no intention of ever hearing what's being said back, I will not entertain that. Okay? So all discussion is welcome as long as it is respectful, as long as you are willing to go and look at the research or the articles that I provide, just like I will do the same for you. So if there is something that you think, ooh, Anna, actually, here's a research because showing this particular thing is actually an issue, then please do send it to me. That's fine. But again, no rabid dogs. That's just silly. Doesn't help anybody. Okay? So thank you so much for watching. And I will see you again. By the way, I hope for those of you who are on my challenge, you have had a good week. I have seen on Wednesday, because our weeks go from Wednesday to Wednesday, I have seen a bunch of you posting what you have lost this week, being excited over the fact that you've lost and that you have done it with very little to no issues. Again, other than some people feeling tired. And that's just as your body is in the middle of switching from one energy source to the next. But not having any issues really with the program, being able to follow the program, and having some fantastic results. Some of you, I think the top one was 12. I had somebody on my challenge who lost 12. Somebody lost 10. Somebody else lost 6. I lost 6. I mean, it's fantastic, and I love the fact that my support group is really starting to talk to each other. In fact, I love the fact one of my support group members has challenged another member to say, look, I challenge you to drink more water this week. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Look at that. We've got each other's back. So that's been fantastic. And I apologize for the fact that on Friday I did not put up my Foodie Friday video. I did put it up late last night. And that was again because my video editing, it just doesn't want to work. And not having a good time. So finally I just gave up, and I just put the video up with me talking about, going over the ingredients, because usually I type the ingredients so that you can see it on the screen. And my video system was just not exporting that at all. So finally I just had to put the video without the type on top. So it is up. It is cottage pie, because we talked about it so much last week. So we put my husband's version of keto cottage pie, which actually before I started this video, we had it again. So again, Sunday dinner, it means something. So, all right. So keep going. I look forward to any comments. I look forward to seeing you around Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And until next time, I say to you, have a fantastic keto journey. Have a fantastic week. And foodie, bye. And now, again, I'm going to get closer to these videos because I need to turn them off.